What is happening? I'll tell you what's happening with me. It's like 7 in the morning. It's cold. It's gotta be like 40 degrees. What are you doing, bud? Come on. Just walking Tucker right now. It's funny, man. We live in like an industrial, just industrial buildings everywhere. Then you got our little house right in the center. So walk him today. We got to feed Muffin. I'll talk about the Nicaraguan boa who's been throwing a fit about eating for me. I think I finally cracked the code with that one. And also New Year's Eve, I took a poop sample to the vet for Annabelle, the tiger rat snake. So I'll talk about that. She's good. We'll get into all that later. Right now, let me get this dog walked. I get inside. I get some coffee in me. Put on some real clothes. You know, I'm rocking the robe and the red sweats. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. All right, I will see y'all in a couple minutes. That's the rabbit in the morning. Hey, dude, you want to let me out of here? So she gets closed up in here at night. And then in the day, that gets opened up. She roams the house. Pretty cool. Alright, so we're in here. My boy Squirrel, man. He's not doing bad, but he could be doing better. Right now, he's on a couple-day fast. He was doing fine, so I started feeding him again regularly. And now, he's spent a lot of time at the bottom again. I mean, when I come in, he starts moving around, he'll swim up to the top. But that's because he wants food. He thinks I'm here to feed him, but I haven't fed him yesterday. I'm not going to feed him today. I don't know. Water temperature's fine. Just partial the tank. Fish, you don't want to clean the whole tank. You want to just do like half, a little less than half maybe. Because if you clean the whole tank, you get rid of all like that good bacteria that's built up in there, you know, and you're putting like completely fresh water. Like fish don't live, even if they live in fresh water, it's not like your average bottled water, you know. That's why when you get a fish, you let the tank cycle, I don't know, like a week or something. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do that with him. But he just started being sick, so I don't want you saying, maybe if you recycled the water, he wouldn't be like that. Because I've had him almost, probably a month and a half, 2 months. Nah, probably like 2 months. And he just started being sick a couple weeks ago, so maybe a month ago. I don't know. And it's swim bladders. Got nothing to do with that. Whatever. Don't judge me. Bought the fish. Set the tank up. Muffin is going to be eating today. She's got herself tucked in. It's funny. She's literally tucked herself in under her paper like a blanket. Because that's how she slept last night. She's excited. She loves to eat. She's just so cool, man. So cool. And it's crazy. It blows my mind that, like, I own the longest snake species in the world. It's crazy anyone can own that. It's like wild, man. It's like owning a bear. Except you don't need a permit. They banned retics. I think Burmese pythons also. And probably African rock pythons. They should be banned anyway. You know, the reason African rock pythons, I'll trash talk them a lot because they're so aggressive. They're really cool. They are. They're very defensive. Or as Kevin from Nerd says, reactive. But not a lot of people breed them in captivity. So, like when retics first came around, they were looked at as very aggressive. But the more they're bred in captivity, you know, you get like F5, F6 generation, they calm down a lot, you know. But African rock pythons, a lot of those only been out of the wild so many generations, so they still have a lot of that instinct. And they're from Africa. Everything in Africa is crazy. But they banned these guys. And I remember when my dad was breeding ball pythons, going to reptile shows, I don't know, 2008, 2009. I was signing petitions to like stop the ban, and they did ban them for a little while. I was completely out of the snake realm at that point, but I read about it the other day, and I think it was 2017 they lifted the ban. Then you could start having them again. So that's the thing, man. I do a lot of research on a lot of different things. What I struggle with is retaining information. I'm horrible at that. I know a lot of stuff, but I don't remember it until I actually see it again. So when I throw out dates or temperature, when I throw out anything, don't quote me, because I am so bad at retaining information. So I just reread the whole thing all the time. And by the whole thing, I mean whatever it is I'm rereading. Whatever, dude. I'm still half asleep. So I got Mochi's cage open because he got his bedding changed the other day. See these holes? I drilled these in here. I'm going to drill them all the way down, I think. When I change the bedding, or maybe I'll switch them to aspen. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Either drill holes or switch them to aspen. Because when I put this cypress mulch in there, man, the amount of humidity is ridiculous. Ridiculous. He'll probably shed soon. What do you think, bud? You gonna shed soon? His eyes are okay, but his skin looks a little dull. So I'm gonna put him back. When if a snake sheds and he struggles and you gotta help him, that's no big deal. But if they're not in the shedding process right then, and you're handling them, and you chip the paint, whatever, it's still not really a huge deal, but then it just makes, they probably won't have a whole shed when they would go shed. Like they were not ready to shed yet, and you handling them broke that skin that wasn't completely ready to break. It's not going to kill your snake or anything, but if your snake's in shed, if you handle it, just be careful. Only handle it if you need to, cleaning cages or whatever, what have you. Let's see, what else do I gotta do? So I'm not gonna take him out because I fed him last night. So the Nicaraguan boa ate for me. I got him December 2nd. It was my mom's birthday. So for my mom's birthday, I bought myself a snake. This is his cage right here. So, got him December 2nd. And I think the 5th or the 6th, I fed him and he ate. But he didn't take it off the tongs. I had to lay it in there over his hide box where he was near. And I came in a couple hours later, it was gone. Then it was 20 days later. So the 6th would be the 20th. It was the day after Christmas. Same deal. He wouldn't eat off the tongs. He spends a lot of time hiding in the bedding during the day. So I dug in the bedding, found him, pulled him out, set him on top, set the rat on top of the hide box, left the room, turned the lights out. Came in a couple hours later and he ate. So, excuse me. Last night I come in here to look around. Sometimes I just like to see what everything's doing when all the lights go out. And it's cool, everybody's always moving around. But he was moving around, and he was also moving around the night before. But I didn't try to feed him the night before. So last night he was moving around. So you know what, I'm going to give it a shot because he's probably in hunting mode. And I come in here, thaw the rat out real quick. Come in here, hold it. No problem. Smashed it. It was cool. And he's fast, man. I had a boa named Betty. I got her in high school. I wanted a berm or a retic. My dad wouldn't let me. He did let me get. It was a BCI. So You got your true red-tailed boas, which is boa constrictor, constrictor, and then you got your boas, like your Central American boas, BCI, boa constrictor, imperator, I think. I don't know. I'm not that good at pronunciations either. But they get smaller. They're not like true red-tailed boas. They get up like 10 feet. And then you got, your common boa constrictor, the BCI. I don't know, 7 feet, 8 feet maybe, roughly. And then you got like these guys. These. I guess Nicaraguan boa would be Central American boa, I think. But like a dwarf boa species, so they don't get very big. Hog Island boas are another one. Don't get very big. Like, he's a male. He'll top out at like 4 feet. But anyway, I had a BCI, just a common boa constrictor in high school, and she was fast, man. You hold that food and it's lightning quick. And last night I'm holding this rat pup right here at the front of the cage. He took it, and I'm usually pretty quick, letting go. By the time he took it and had it, I had a piece of rat tail in my hand still. Snatched it fast. But maybe that's the secret. Just got to catch him on hunt at night, looking around, and he'll eat then for me. Because, he ate it no problem, which was cool. Because I wasn't stressing. 20 days for a snake not to eat is no big deal. You don't want to intentionally do that week after week, month after month, whatever. But if it happens, it's not a huge deal. Snakes don't really get their energy off the food they eat, more so from the heat they're soaking up. So I wasn't stressing, but I also wasn't happy with how he had been eating. But the fact he took it out of my hands last night definitely made my night. Check this out. Girlfriend got me this for a 2-year anniversary. Yes, I really do need all these reptiles. Which I guess technically I don't really need them. I just kind of want them. It's funny. When we got together, me and her, 2 years ago, I told her, eventually, I want an apartment or house, whatever, and I want to have a room just for reptiles. I don't know if she thought I was bluffing, but I wasn't bluffing. And also, stimmy check hit, you know what I'm saying, $600. With the first $1,200 stimulus check, that's what I bought Muffin's cage with. It's 8 foot, about 3 foot deep, about 2 feet high. Cost like the whole stimulus check. But the second check came, I spent that too. I bought Annabelle a new cage. So her new cage is going to be 4 feet long, 3 feet high, and 2 feet deep. So basically, if you were to take Muffin's cage here, this half, and flip it up, that's what it'll be. Because, 3 feet high, 4 feet wide, 2 feet deep. So I think that'll be good for her. She can get... This cage has plenty of floor space, but they like to climb too, so I wanted to give her something with a little bit of height. This new cage will be a foot shorter. It'll be a foot shorter. It'll be twice as high, and it'll be 6 inches shallower, which it really is no big deal. And what I'm gonna do with that is, that's gonna go here. I'm gonna do something with all these shoes. So I'll put her cage here, slide this cage down some, because with Muffin's cage being 8 feet, this cage is 4 feet. Annabelle's new cage will be 4 feet. So boom, boom. Have Annabelle's cage here. Have this one here. I'll probably sell this cage. Just get rid of it. Like, it's the melamine or whatever it's called board. Because that cage was a big deal to me when I got it. It really was. When I was little, I knew my dad used to tell me, save up, buy a snake rack. I'll give you some ball pythons and start breeding yourself. And I could never save the money. I was always really irresponsible. So when I bought that cage, did not buy that with any kind of stimulus check. I bought that with my own money. It was a big deal to me. But Just doesn't look as nice as PVC. It's heavy. The cage is so heavy. If I gotta flip it over to do something, like fix the heat tape, whatever, it's rough, man. I'm in here cussing, screaming, getting angry, because it's really awkward to flip around by yourself without crushing the cords. I've already thrown away a thermostat probe because the cage had rolled over top of it and it ripped the wire. Bro, I gotta wake up. Gotta wake up. See, I'll get rid of this. Maybe put Mochi over here. I don't know. Got a lot of thinking to do. Because, like, the carpet python and the boa will be good in these for a while. These are 2 feet by 2 feet. I mean, the carpet python, he ain't but this big around when he balls up. So maybe eventually I'll get 2 more of these, the 2 foot by 4 foot. Put them up here. Over time, which I got a lot of time for that, because carpet pythons, they grow pretty slow. I'd get him something like I'm getting Annabelle, 3 feet by 4 feet. Because they like to climb too. So yeah, it's gonna be sick. Like, kind of my plan is, when these guys grow up and gotta move out of here, put them in new enclosures, and then buy 2 more babies or something and put them in there. Just kind of cycle them through. Obviously disinfecting cages in between. You never want to take a reptile out of a cage and then put something new in that cage. Even if all your animals are healthy, you're still just disinfected. I'm not saying you gotta, throw it out, but just make sure you disinfect it. Alright, so we're gonna take Annabelle out for a second. I'm gonna talk about her poop sample. Basically, nothing's wrong with her, but let me get her out first, then we'll talk about it. Man, I should have gotten that on camera. Bite my pants, you crazy? Usually she tries to strike when I go to take her out. Man, she struck all the way to the left, missed my arm. I picked her up, she struck back to the right, went underneath my arm, I lifted my arm up, and then when I took her out, she struck again. She's crazy, man, but she's so cool. So, basically, what happened was, she was having, like, really runny poop. Like, really runny. It was really runny, it really stunk. I didn't know what the deal was, So, like, I did, like, a bunch of temperature adjustments. I had read online, it was like, what did I read? It was 78 to, like, 83 in the day. It can drop down to 76 at night. With a 90-degree basking spot. So what I had in her cage was, I had the heat panel. I think I had it set at, like, 80. Then on the screen cutout on the right-hand side, I had a basking lamp that was sitting at 90. 90 up on top of the cork bark. Around the cork bark was like, 86. And then, she would still have a runny poop though. So then I put it on some Facebook group, which don't ever do, man. People in the Facebook groups, they're not even helpful. They're just mean. They'll just trash talk everything you say, instead of just like giving you some pointers. It's pretty rough. I was watching a nerd video yesterday, and Kevin, who's like OG in the snake game, been around forever, created a bunch of the ball python morphs. He was saying he was teaching people how he handled his monitor lizards, and people were like bashing him. And it's like, bro, he's very trained professional. But anyway, Facebook groups are mean. So I put in there a picture of her poop on a rat snake group. And said what temperatures I'm keeping her at. Some people are saying it looks like her food's not completely digested. You should do this, do that. Another guy was like, 86 with a 90-degree hot spot is way too hot. I got mine at 74. And a friend of mine pointed out, he was probably talking about he has his in brumation right now, which I don't. I'm not breeding, so I don't really do that. And I don't know, so I went and spent $100 at the vet for a poop sample, which I should have just, did the old taste test and just tasted it to find out. Kidding, not eating snake poop, but $93 for a poop sample, because I was like, maybe she's got an internal parasite, I know she doesn't have anything external. I check on her all the time. I don't know if you can see her neck's kind of puffed out. Nah, she closed it up. And the vet called me the other day and said her poop's completely fine. And the reason I planned on doing it for a while, but what really pushed me to call and make the appointment, I fed her a couple chicks the other day, and I go to clean the poop out of the cage, and I thought it was a freaking mealworm in the poop, but it was a chick leg that didn't get digested. So I was like, I gotta call, because this is proof it's not getting digested. And talked to this other guy, colubrid guy out in California. He said he keeps his around 85 degrees and they're fine. So what I did was, because what I was getting, not a lot of people have these. They're not very common at all whatsoever. Go on Instagram, type it up, tiger rat snake. It's a few posts from the same people basically. So like when I put it in on the rat snake group, nobody else is really talking about these. They're talking about other stuff, and there's not that much information online about them either. So like, I don't know, it sucks. It's like trial and error, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never had a snake like this. And I don't remember if I talked about this before, but the reason I got her, me and Erica went to the Battlefield Reptile Expo, and I had this cage empty, clean, sanitized, and I wanted to put something in it. And baby stuff's cool and all, but raising them up's a pain. And I wanted a adult, fast, cantankerous, irritable, reactive, defensive, whatever you want to call it, snake. And I saw her sitting in an aquarium. She had a bunch of stuck shed down her back. She just didn't look happy. And I had done a little, look at her. You're crazy, girl. Yeah, what's that camera? Do not bite my face. What was I saying? Oh, so I had done some research because I had seen some of them for sale, so I was like, looking up how to care for them. It's really all you can find is like temperature and stuff. But anyway, so I said to Eric, I said, that's the one. I want her. Asked the guy, take a little less cash. And he said, yeah, so I think we paid $230 for her. She was actually another one of my anniversary presents, which is really cool. I got a good girlfriend. Get you a girlfriend that's going to buy your snake as a present. Look at this snake. She's so cool, man. Yellow on her face is just wild. But so she was covered in shed, but the thing is, this snake's over 6 feet long. And a snake this size isn't shedding very often, right? And, for all I know, that stuck shed on her was just from a couple days before or something. I get her home. 3 days after I get her home, she goes blue. Goes in the shed. Well, day after I got her home, I took the shed off. All the old shed. 3 days after that is when she went in the shed again. Which means that stuck shed had to have been on her. I don't know. I've had her since November 14th. She shed once for me. And it's January 6th. So it's been almost 2 months and she hasn't gone back into shed. Which means that stuck shed was on her for a minimum of 2 months. Which just sucks, man. you go to the reptile shows and you go to a table, they got all ball pythons, or all boa constrictors, or all bearded dragons. What happened to this light? Did it die on me? That light sucks. Whatever the case may be, they're probably breeding that animal. None of those are going to be imported. You go to a table, they got one tegu, one savanna monitor, 2 different types of rat snakes, both adults, a handful of tortoises. Like, if they have a million of a bunch of different species, I can almost promise you they're not breeding all their species. They're getting them imported from the wild and then selling them. It's almost like a puppy mill in my eyes. It's like the puppy mill of the reptile world. So, like, by buying her, I'm supporting that company. But by buying her, I'm ensuring that this snake gets a pretty decent life in captivity. Which, like, I mean, the wild probably sucks too. You know, you're out in the wild, stuff's trying to eat you. You gotta chase your food down. She don't gotta do none of that. I do mess with her with the food, kind of give her some enrichment, make her feel like she's working for it, but she's guaranteed to eat. In captivity, in the wild, you're not guaranteed anything. But so her poop sample checked out. She did poop yesterday. It was still a little mushy, but did look a little better, me putting the cage where I put it, temperature-wise. So, just gotta keep hoping for the best, because, man, I truly love this snake. I mean, Muffin is obviously always going to be queen. She's the queen of the snake room. But Annabelle, I mean, what the hell is she doing? She's got me all kinds of wrapped up here. Wrapped around my arm, then got me here. Stuck. Glad she doesn't have any internal parasites. She's still eating like a champ. So everything is good here. But that's it, man. I'm gonna get my day started. I will feed Muffin later. But you know what? That's not it. I'm a liar. I'm a full-blown freaking liar. That's it for Annabelle. I'm gonna put her back. Later on, we'll feed Muffin. I think that's really it, man. I gotta go to pet store later, get some crickets, and maybe buy a couple fake plants just to do it. But I will see y'all later on when I feed Muffin. Got a rabbit. I took a rabbit out last night. What I do with that is take it out the day before, basically let it sit for like 24 hours, and then I'll put it in hot water, thaw it out the rest of the way, warm it up. And Muffin's such a good eater, man. She don't care how hot it is. She's gonna eat it. But alright, let me get some stuff done, and I will see y'all shortly. Alright, so I fed Muffin earlier. I did record it. I didn't do a time lapse or anything. I had some running around to do, so I fed her real fast, and then went and ran some errands. So I'm gonna play that, and that's gonna be it, man. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. Remember, do something you love. It's good for the soul. Until next time. Peace.